The Nanking Massacre, also known as the Forgotten Holocaust of World War II. This is a map just showing where Japan is relative to Nanjing, China. The massacre of Nanking was a mass murder and mass rape done by the Japanese imperial troops on the men, women, and children that lived in Nanjing during the Second Sino-Japanese War. This is a, I guess, illustration done by a Chinese reporter, I believe. I forget his name. Where was it located? It was located in Nanjing, China. The attack was done by Japanese military on both Chinese military and civilians. It started December 19th of 1937. It ended in January of 1938. It was estimated that over 30,000 people died. 300,000 people died. And it was also estimated that 80,000 of those were women and children. And this is a photo done by a reporter, I guess, that was there during the massacre. Comparison to other mass murders. The death toll during the massacre exceeded even the atomic bomb of both Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. There are more civilian deaths reported in this massacre than the war in Britain, France, and Beijing. And this is just a couple photos of the memorial in China for what happened. Some of the horrific ways the residents of Nanjing were murdered. A decapitation contest where the heads were kept in order to keep score. Nailed to boards and ran over by tanks and horses, or mutilated and eaten by dogs. Large crowds were incinerated with gasoline, kerosene, or exploded with grenades. Some of their victims were saturated in acid, hung by their tongues. They impaled babies, then tossed their still alive bodies in hot water. It was also reported that some Japanese engaged in cannibalism. These accounts were reported by a gentleman named Hikaru Nagatami, and apparently he was one of the Japanese soldiers that were watching all of this happen. A contest to kill 100 men by sword. Sub-Lieutenant Tashaki Makai, who was on the left in the picture, and Sub-Lieutenant Taisoshi Nada, who's on the right in the picture, decided to have a contest to see who could execute 100 people with their sword first. The two would later suffer a similar fate. When the war was over, they had returned to Japan. The Chinese government would extradite them so they could be executed for their war crimes. And this is just a photo taking of both the gentlemen with their swords during the war. The Tokyo War Crimes Trial. Very few of the Japanese officials involved in the Nanking Massacre ended up facing judgment during the Tokyo War Crimes trial. The Japanese, in Japan, many of the people responsible for the massacre are idolized as heroes now, with their memories enshrined in Japan. The ones that are still living are continuing to receive payments from the Japanese government by the way of a pension. And that's it. Thank you.